Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
Ask yourself, am I given this ministry to do what? And if you are not serving the people, that means you are there by mistake. And it is better for you to resign if you don't know what you are doing in the ministry. Because as a leader, you are not a leader by yourself, you are a leader leading people. A leader is a servant, somebody who is going to serve the people of what they want. The constitution is given power to the president to appoint the people. After 100 days, the president will go and check whether after 100 days what you have done. If you did nothing, you should have to be relieved from the position. That's what is so-called provisional period. You are only appointed, you come and relax in the ministry, you serve yourself, you correct all the mistakes within your family, you take your children to the abroad for studies, you renovate your house, and then you just nominating other people from your family to come and work within the government. That is not the role you are appointed for. Because all the positions within the government are the position of the citizen. They are not for the certain group that have formed themselves to help each other. A government is not an accommodation company.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio. Your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to iRadio News. First, see how the headlines making top stories. Coming up, former Kenyan Prime Minister and opposition leader Raila Odinga has died at the age of 80 while undergoing treatment in India. President Salva Kiir has directed the newly appointed government officials to work together in unity and focus on national development and prosperity. And the Directorate of Immigration, Nationality and Passport says it has arrested 17 Eritrean nationals who entered South Sudan illegally while attempting to cross into Sudan. Tune in for these stories and more coming to you in our news bulletin with me, Wol Mapal. Now the news in detail. We begin our stories this afternoon with neighboring Kenya, where former Kenyan Prime Minister and opposition leader Raila Odinga has died at the age of 80 while undergoing treatment in India. Kenyan media reported that the veteran politician died after suffering cardiac failure during a morning walk. Raila, the leader of the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, was a key figure in Kenyan politics for decades. He served as Prime Minister from 2008 to 2013 following a power-sharing deal after disputed elections. As aide of the ODM, Odinga consistently contested presidential elections and played a central role in shaping Kenya's political direction. Raila also played a part in peace efforts in South Sudan. In March this year, he was sent as a special envoy by President William Ruto to support South Sudan's peace process. He visited Juba to help ease tensions between the government and the main opposition group SPLM-IO after the house arrest of Dr. Riek Machar following fighting in Nasser County, Upper Nile State. Despite his engagement with the parties, his efforts to de-escalate the conflict were unsuccessful. During his 2022 presidential campaign, Odinga pledged to build a highway linking Nairobi and Juba to boost trade between Kenya and South Sudan. At the time, he served as the African Union envoy for infrastructure development and promised to improve transport links if elected. President Ruto has extended his condolence and passing of Raila and ordered flags to fly at half-mast in honor of the departed leader. Regional leaders, including Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, and Djiboutian President Ismail Omar Guelleh, have also extended heartfelt condolences to Odinga's family and the people of Kenya. President Salva Kiir has directed the newly appointed government officials to work together in unity and focus on national development and prosperity. He made the remarks while presiding over the swearing-in ceremony of the officials at the State Secretariat on Tuesday. Those who took the oath of office include the Minister of East African Community Affairs, Piang Deng Kwal, the Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, Denai Jok Chagor, the Minister of Transport, Rizik Zakaria Hassan, the Deputy Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, James Kong Chol, and the Governor of Upper Nile State, Jacob Dola Ruot. President Kiir said the appointments are a call to duty and a commitment to the well-being of the people. He urged the new leaders to work together as one government, promote peace and reconciliation, and support the national army. Kiir also called on them to put the country's interest first and avoid personal gain. He was speaking on SSBC.
Begin your duties. I urge you all to cooperate and work together as one government, united in the purpose to strengthen South Sudan's active participation in the East African community, improve road network, protect our wildlife, support the unity of our national army, promote peace and reconciliation among all communities, promote digital connectivity and modernize the aviation services that are in line with international standards. Be reminded these appointments come with great responsibilities and high operations. I expect all of you to serve with integrity, commitment, uphold the laws of this nation, and always put the interests of the country above personal gain.
For his part, the new Minister of East African Community Affairs, Piang Deng Kuol, promised to serve with commitment and respect the country's laws and constitution.
We want to assure you that we are going to do all what we have said in the oath, and we are ready to execute all the mandate that each of us is given by our constitution for our country and by your directive and instructions.
In a separate event, President Kiir also witnessed the swearing-in of Samuel Yanga Mikaya as the new chairperson of the Board of Directors of the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority. He also extended the terms of the non-executive directors of the Bank of South Sudan for another 2 years. Kiir directed the Civil Aviation Authority to improve digital connectivity and bring aviation services up to international standards. The Directorate of Immigration, Nationality and Passport says it has arrested 17 Eritrean nationals who entered South Sudan illegally while attempting to cross into Sudan. Major General Hilia Costa Fustino, Director General of Immigration, said the group was intercepted on October 10th in Awil, northern Bahr Ghazal state near the Sudan border. He said the group, made up of 14 men and 1 woman, was arrested in Awil and later transferred to Juba for investigation. In a separate operation near Kajokeji, 3 of other Eritreans, 2 men and 1 woman, were also arrested for trying to travel to Sudan without legal documents. Major General Costa said the arrests are part of ongoing efforts to combat human trafficking, which he described as a growing problem along South Sudan's northern borders.
On the date of 10th of October 2025, in northern Bahr Ghazal, Awil, which is bordering the Sudan, we managed to arrest about 14 Eritreans passing through to Sudan. 13 are male and 1 female, all from Eritrea. So we managed to take them back to Juba here, so that they are now with us in headquarters of immigration for the purpose of investigation. And we have opened a case against them according to the Immigration Act, because they are moving without any document, and then they are cross South Sudan to Sudan. And we are going to take them to the court so that justice can take its way.
He praised border security forces for intercepting the groups and promised all suspects would face legal action in court. Costa also called on South Sudanese citizens to cooperate with security agencies to prevent illegal border crossings, warning that such activities pose serious security and humanitarian risk.
And we know that it is a human trafficking. It is happening because they are crossing South Sudan to Sudan, then from Sudan to Libya, then from there to Europe. And I'm urging all our people so that we join our hands together for those people who are coming through our land or through our territory to go to the other countries. That one can also bring problem to us. So I thank our organized forces who are in the border for arresting those people.
The immigration director further urged the embassies of Eritrea, Somalia and Ethiopia in Juba to work closely with South Sudanese authorities to help stop illegal immigration and human trafficking through the country. According to Costa, the department has previously arrested over 30 Eritreans in similar cases who were later deported to their home country. You are listening to iRadio News. A leading civil society activist has called for the social and economic empowerment of rural women, recognizing their vital role in the liberation struggle as the country marks the International Day for Rural Women. Lorna Merekeje, speaking yesterday ahead of the International Day for Rural Women, said rural women were at the forefront of supporting soldiers during the war by providing food and essential supplies to the front lines. She said while urban women engaged in advocacy and political mobilization, rural women were the backbone of the liberation movement. Despite their contribution, Merekeje said rural women continue to face major challenges, including poor health care, limited education, and lack of long-term economic support.
Well, the impact, the strength and the impact of rural women, there are so many stories out. The history of this country is a history of liberation. And during liberation days, the women who are making food for the soldiers, the women who are providing food to be taken to the front line were rural women. And rural women have immensely contributed. While the urban women would engage in the advocacy and engage in political discourse, the rural women were busy providing the supply. In regard to the situation of rural women in South Sudan, it is unfortunate because this is a group that is completely detached from accessing basic necessities. And these necessities include things that cannot be controlled by them, like childbirth. These women are not able to access health facilities. So they are some of the people on earth that live in very, very devastating situations. And that's very sad.
She urged the government and international partners to review their policies and design programs that offer real long-term empowerment for women in rural areas.
I have a concern because I have seen also a lot of international organizations trying to give women economic empowerment, and I think the economic empowerment being given is not sufficient. Not sufficient in terms of the money, but in terms of the objective of the economic empowerment, because you realize that some organizations think they're putting money in the hand of these women and she can be able to sell these small things here and there is economic empowerment. That is not economic empowerment. That is just subsistence support. Economic empowerment should look at safeguarding the future of these women. What is their security when they retire? So if there's any institution, whether it's national organization or international organization, attempting to do economic empowerment for women, I think they should be able to clearly tell these women that this empowerment, the objective is lifelong sustainability and lifelong security.
The International Day of Rural Women is observed annually to recognize the crucial role women in rural areas play in food production, environmental conservation, and community development. According to the United Nations, rural women are responsible for nearly half of the world's food production. However, many continue to face inequality and limited access to land, education, credit, and markets. Much of their work remains unpaid and unrecognized. This year's event is held under the theme, The Rise of Rural Women, Building Resilient Futures with Beijing Plus 30. The theme calls on governments, communities, and individuals to ensure women in rural areas are empowered to participate in decision-making and access equal opportunities. Elsewhere, the Central Equatorial State Council of Ministers has reviewed a 5-year strategic plan aimed at improving road connectivity and boosting economic growth across the state. The discussion was held during an extraordinary council meeting chaired by Governor Rabi Mujung Emmanuel on Monday. The meeting followed a presentation by Clement Mering Samuel, the State Minister of Roads and Bridges. The strategic plan outlines the ministry's priorities from 2026 to 2031. It includes goals, performance indicators, timelines, resource allocation, and measures for institutional development. Speaking to journalists after the meeting, the State Minister of Information and Communication, Nyarsuk Patrick, said the cabinet reviewed the plan but decided to defer it. He said the Ministry of Roads and Bridges was asked to first develop a policy framework that will guide the plan's implementation before resubmitting it to the Council.
The memo was deferred back to the Minister of Roads and Bridges to go and work on the policy framework before bringing and submitting the 5 years strategic plan to the Council of Ministers Also, the Council listened to a security briefing and security report within Central Equatorial State that was presented by the State Minister of Local Government and Law Enforcement Agents. The Minister briefed the Council that the security situation in Central Equatoria is reportedly in the last 2 weeks has come only minor cases that are.
Minister Mring said the state government is committed to building a strong and inclusive road network that supports economic progress, social unity and regional cooperation. Meanwhile, on the security situation, Minister Nyersuk said the overall state of security in Central Equatoria is calm, with only minor incidents reported in the past 2 weeks. And finally, before regional international stories, the Bar Association has announced plans to conduct a criminal justice conference in partnership with the judiciary to discuss reforms in South Sudan's justice system with a focus on the Criminal Procedure Act. The announcement was made during a meeting between the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Dr. Joseph Gang Akech, and the President of the Bar Association, Arob Maluith, along with other members of the Bar Council. Key issues discussed at the meeting included the role of the Bar Association in upholding the rule of law, the operationalization of the Legal Training Institute under the 2013 Act, and the improvement of lawyer training and professional development. The meeting also addressed licensing, legal education, and the need to harmonize laws under the Advocates Act. Ethical standards and disciplinary measures for lawyers were also discussed to promote professionalism and accountability in the local field. Speaking on state-run SSBC, Stephen Martin Nyachar, the Secretary General of the Bar Association, said the meeting agreed to activate the Legal Training Institute to strengthen the quality of lawyer training in the country.
We discussed a lot of issues. One of them was the establishment of Legal Training Institute, which have Act, which is Legal Training Institute 2013. And the Act was enacted a long time ago, but it was not operationalized. The result of the meeting came out was that the operationalization of the Legal Training Institute to be active, so that the training institute will bring lawyers good. The second issue was criminal justice conference, which will be held together in collaboration with the Bar Association and the judiciary to discuss the criminal reform in South Sudan, especially in the area of the Criminal Procedure Act and its work. We also discussed the issue of the ethics of the advocate, and we agreed that the advocate ethics regulation should be enacted so that
Nachar also said both the Ministry of Justice and the Bar Association renewed their commitment to work closely with other justice sector institutions to improve access to justice across the country. You are listening to iRadio News. Now to the regional international stories. Here is Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
An elite military unit in Madagascar says it has seized power, hosting President Andry Kapsat has suspended key democratic institutions but has promised elections within 2 years. Madagascar's constitutional court named the unit's commander, Colonel Michael Randriarinina, as the country's new leader, but the president's office insists Rajolina is still in charge. Lawmakers earlier voted to impeach Rajolina, which he rejected as null and void. Elsewhere, Spain is taking a different approach from many Western countries on Africa and migration, while the US, UK, France and Germany cut development aid. Madrid remains committed to supporting the continent. This week, the Spanish capital is hosting Afro Madrid 2025, an African Union-backed conference on people of African descent focusing on restorative justice and a new development fund. Spain is also expanding diplomatic and business ties with African countries, signaling a more engaged approach compared to other Western nations. And finally, Israel says one of 4 bodies handed over by Hamas overnight does not match any of the hostages. Hamas was required to return all 48 remaining hostages as part of the first phase of the Gaza peace plan. So far, all 20 living hostages and 7 hostages' bodies have been returned. In response to delays in handing over bodies, Israel has threatened to restrict aid into Gaza and delay the reopening of the Rafah crossing. That's all from the regional international scene.
Vodo thanks Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Up next is Sports with Dico D. Andrew.
For the sport news, Al Ghazal Wow crushed Yei Lion Hunters with a resounding 6-1 victory in a rescheduled week. Two fixtures of the South Sudan Premier League played this evening at Juba National Stadium. Al Ghazal displayed a strong attacking performance from the opening minutes, dominating the match and sealing one of the biggest win for the season. At Labara, to challenge Jamuz at 1 p.m. while in afternoon, Al Marikh will take on Salam at Juba National Stadium at 4 p.m. Ivory Coast and Senegal claim Africa's final two automatic qualifying 6 FIFA World Cup as both sides on Tuesday. Senegal claimed a 4-0 home win over Mauritania to secure first place in Group B. Elsewhere, Frank Kissy gave Ivory Coast an early lead against Kenya in Group F, and a teenager, Yan Dominant, fired in to double the lead after the break. Manchester United amid cooled in a fine free kick to give the Elephants a 3 victory, 2-0 in Abidjan. The results meant the resigning on continental champions finished to a point ahead of Gabon, who saw off Burundi 2-0 in front goals from Bayern Mio. Britain Emma Raducanu struggled physically in a 3-set loss to a world number 2019 Zulin in the first round of the Ningbo Open in China. Raducanu, who 22, faded badly against the Chinese wildcat, losing 3-6, 6-4, 6-1 in 2 hours 26 minutes. She had her blood pressure and vital sign taken during the second set. World number 29 Raducanu died with illness from the first round of the Wuhan Open last week. For iRadio, I was Dico D. Andrew. Thank you for listening.
You're listening to iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here is a quick recap of our top stories once again. Former Kenyan Prime Minister and opposition leader Raila Odinga has died at the age of 80 while undergoing treatment in India. President Salva Kiir has directed the newly appointed government officials to work together in unity and focus on national development and prosperity. And the Director of Immigration, Nationality and Passport says it has arrested 17 Eritrean nationals who entered South Sudan illegally while attempting to cross into Sudan. That is the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 1/2 past the hour. I am Wol Mapal. Thanks for listening.